Welcome to another episode of Sessions with Coach April, where real conversations meets real solutions. I'm your host, April Hogan.
And I am Cass Wilford.
All right, and today we're cracking the networking myth, how to build real connections without feeling fake or exhausted. And we know, especially for us introverts,
Yes.
that is a conversation that has to be had. So before I start, how are you doing today, Cass?
I am beautiful and blessed. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. How are you?
All right, Mr. Rogers.
I
Okay,
know,
Mr.
right?
Rogers. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's actually not rainy, so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
Yeah,
good. So,
that's good.
when people hear the word networking, right? They
Mhm.
often picture a crowded event or being forced to do small talk. So, let's change that picture. Why do you think the image is so off from what real networking should be?
Well, I mean, I can see why they would say that. We do a lot of networking events, and a lot of times it is that, but it's also not. And I think that image is off because I think when you go into it with the mindset of I really don't want to be here, I really don't want to do this, it can feel like that's what it is. And as introverts, we have a hard time letting our guard down to make it something else, and it's something we've had to learn to do. So I think that's a part of the reason why it's like this, because you go into it with the mind of dreading it. Of I really don't want to be here, I really don't want to do this, and it seems so tedious and such a task, and that's why there's that perception that that's what it is.
Absolutely. I definitely 100% agree. I feel like it's the mood. What mood are you in? Do you
Mhm.
feel like it? Like if you feel like getting out, it's a little bit easier to be in a space where, you can go out and talk to people. But if you're just not really in the mood, well, then I'll tell you what else what makes it difficult is when it feels like you're entering a space where it's
Yeah.
clicky. So you're going into a space and you don't know anybody, but you want to network, but it's almost like without there being a system of networking to say how you meet people, how it's like it's
Yeah.
intimidating. So it definitely can be a, a little,
Yeah.
it can be a little different depending on how you approach
And
it.
speaking of, I mean, that mood though, people who feel shy or drained by networking, what's one simple mindset shift to make it feel natural?
So I guess you kind of have to, because you know what, I will be honest. This is one thing I will say. I don't know, like because I mean, I've had times where it's just like I feel like I'm on it, and I'll go out and I'll network. But then times I feel like I'm on it, and then I'll get there and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not. Like the time we went to that Palm Bay
Hmm.
Chamber event. I was hot. I was sweat moved around a little bit, and they won, and there was no chairs, so I wasn't on it, right? So
Yeah.
I would say, first of all, when it comes to like being drained, you have to number one pinpoint like the space that you're in, right? Like I'm
Mhm.
learning, and we both know this. If we're working at home and then we plan a networking event, we're probably not going to make
Yeah.
it. If it's one of the days that we were out already at the office and we plan an event, then we'll probably
Mhm.
make it. But if it's one of those days we're at the house, we have the other people on our staff will text like, "Are we still
Right.
going?" And I'm waiting
Crickets.
for your answer. You're waiting for mine. Yes. So it's almost like you have to find like the
Yeah.
space. Like if you are a morning networker, which means that's when you have most of your
Mhm.
energy, then try to find like morning events, brunches, those type of things. If you're like, hey, I'm a night owl, I like the night scene, then do the night scene. But you typically got to figure out when is your
Yeah.
energy the best and then plan your
I
events
agree.
around that.
So if networking isn't about just handing out cards, then what is it really about? So what's the difference between collecting contacts, but then also building that genuine connection?
Okay, so I'm going to say first of all, it's what is your mindset when you go into the
Mhm.
connection? Are you looking to just sell, or are you really trying to build a
Yeah.
relationship? And in business, it's not about the sale, it's about building the relationship, because I can make one sale or I can build a relationship that can turn into
Right.
multiple sales, whether it's like they're referring people to me or I'm referring people to them, or it's about building the relationship. So if you go into it with the thought matter of like, again, so being a consultant or solutions architect, one of the things that we know we have to do is we don't know what problem to solve until we hear the
Mhm.
problem. So if you're going into a network or an event, and the first thing you want to do is tell everybody about what you do, then you're not gaining enough knowledge to try to know where you even fit in helping them, if that's the case, right? So sometimes going into networking with the thought of like, I'm not coming to tell everybody about me. I'm coming to find out about other people. Who are the people I need to build relationships with? Who do I need to contact after this? Where do I fit in here? And then once you figure that out, then you're building the relationships anyway, right? So I think that's the first thing, is not jump into it with the thought, I'm just going to go talk to everybody and tell them about me. No, go and figure out who is a good connect for you.
I agree, because I feel like a lot of times, and I think that's a learned behavior, right? Because like you said, it's kind of salesy. When you go into these spaces, you're almost like, okay, for this to be worth it, I have to at least make a connection that's going to lead to a sale. So you do feel pressured to go in and tell people about you. And I think that's what separates the good salesman from the mediocre or just the okay salesman who might get a sale, versus that salesman who made a connection is going to lead to 3 or 4 or 5 sales down the line, because you network with somebody who's like, I have a lot of clients who could use your services, versus, no, I don't really need you right now, but I know somebody who does.
Absolutely. Love it. No, I definitely agree. And honestly, I have a lot of contacts that is just that, like, they never bought from me, but they've sent me multiple clients. So what practical steps can someone take this week to nurture authentic relationships, even if they don't own a business?
I think it's like you said, making the effort to make that connection. Like Chad always says, nurturing that relationship. It's not about what can I get from you? You know, it's like, what do you need from me? Do you need me to refer you to somebody? Like, what is the why? What do you need this week for your network, for your business? Even if it's not us purchasing from each other, you need to tell somebody, what's your ideal client? Just having conversations and nurturing relationships can lead to so much more down the line.
Exactly. And then just remembering that we are in business to serve. Whether you're working for your business or somebody else's business, your ultimate goal is to serve. Because if you're not helping someone, are you really doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? Like, it's about service. Like, that's one of the things I always say with even people with own their business. So I want to work for myself. Yeah, but you're still going to serve somebody. Like, you're going to have a customer to serve, or you got to have customers to have an actual business, right? So that's what you said is such a powerful reminder that networking is not about numbers, but it's actually about depth, right? Like building those relationships, like you said, nurturing those relationships. So we're going to pause for just a moment to take a short commercial break. But don't go anywhere, because after the break, we'll show you how to spot networking opportunities hiding in plain sight.
Congratulations, you're a home-based business owner. Freedom, flexibility, and your living room is HQ. It's the dream, right? But just because you work from home doesn't mean the world should know it. Your home address doesn't belong on business registrations, public records, or client invoices. At Rich Innovations, we protect your business and your privacy with our virtual mailbox services. Get a real business address, secure mail handling and digital access without ever leaving home. Separate your personal life from your business. Stay compliant, look professional, and protect your home and your brand. Your address matters. Sign up for your virtual mailbox today.
Welcome back to Sessions with Coach April. If you're just joining us, we've been breaking down the myths of networking and how to create authentic relationships. Now let's talk about the everyday moments where those genuine connections really come alive.
All right. So some of the best connections happen far from conferences or mixers, right? And that's the assumption. Networking is just conferences, mixers, events. Where have you seen organic relationships form in everyday business and everyday life?
Honestly, everywhere. I remember one time my aunt called me and she was trying to sell me on, and this is when I first started my trucking business. She was trying to sell me on her jewelry line. She was doing like the Mary Kay jewelry or whatever that jewelry line is. I forget what it's called, but it's where you like to have like a $5 jewelry that you sell and you host parties, and she was trying to get me to. And she was like, oh yeah, and I work with this guy, and we were just talking like over lunch break, and he was just telling me how he started a trucking company. And so I just naturally thought of you, and I told him that you just started dispatching and you have your own truck company and that he should hook up with you. And it turned into one of my clients. And they were just talking at work on lunch break. Like, she wasn't selling him on her jewelry line for his girlfriend, no nothing. They were just talking about everyday life. And he was like a young guy, fresh out of college, just filling her in on his experience with starting his trucking company with his friends. And it turned into a referral for me. So it literally can be any and everywhere. Just talk. And I'm one of those people where usually when I'm in public, it's like, don't walk up and just talk to me. Like, I know it's inviting and it seems like, oh, she seems nice, and I am, but there's sometimes I don't want that. But that's where the most genuine connections can form at. It's just those everyday conversations you wouldn't think turns into a business opportunity.
Absolutely. And I'm going to name another one that is so popular now if you use it right, social media. So
Yeah.
if your goal on social media is to actually talk and build a relationship, you can build relationships. The problem where social media comes in is when everybody just wants to sell, sell, sell.
Mm-hmm.
And then people get tired of being sold. So if you want to build a genuine conversation, like, hey, what do you do? Okay, great. This is what I do. Okay, great. Like, and then actually like build off of that. If it's always about the dollar sign, you're not going to build a relationship wherever you go, right? It's always going to be about that. But I think social media is a big one. A lot of times I'll see in some of the groups where they're talking about who wants to have online coffee dates. And I think that's interesting. I mean, I don't have that type of time, so I haven't done it. But I mean, I think that's interesting because there are people who do, and you can build connections. There's also a lot of like online groups like NASDAQ, where if you actually are a part of their community, you'll get to meet people, and there's courses that you can take. And if you engage with the people you're taking courses with, you guys are in a similar journey, you can use those as networking opportunities, right? So just like you said, you can network just about anywhere. It's just your approach. How do you approach meeting people and turning it into opportunities?
Yeah. So how can listeners turn everyday encounters like, kids activities, coffee shop chats into meaningful opportunities without making it weird? Because that's the thing. It can get weird very quickly.
Well, I'm gonna say it only gets weird if your intentions aren't great. Like, I feel like when you have good intentions, it doesn't really get weird. Now, you can approach someone who is kind of like standoffish or don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can even kind of get through that if your approach is correct and it's not for the wrong reasons. And that's where, and I don't want to keep saying salesy, but if your goal is to come up and try to convince me to get something, nope. Don't bother me while I'm out here with you know what I'm saying? Like, no, get away. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you are actually genuinely trying to learn people, you're going to organically meet people who actually are going to match what it is you're trying to get, and you're not going to have to sell it. Like, you're going to, because you actually care about who they are and what it is that you can offer them without having to offer it. It's just going to be natural. Your customers are your customers regardless. Like, you need to advertise your business. So please don't take that the wrong way. It is important to advertise your business, but there's a way that you do it, right? You have a genuine conversation, and then you get to know someone and they understand that you know how to do this because they're getting to know you. Then now you're an expert without having to convince them. When they need it, it's a no-brainer to come to you. Or when they know someone who asked for it, it's a no-brainer to come to you. It's when you're trying to force something without building the trust that it starts to become an issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So what's one habit people can build to maintain? Because this is the hard part, right? Like, it's not just making the connection, but what is one habit that people can build to maintain connections over time, even when life gets busy?
I mean, I hate to say it because it is going to sound repetitive, but I mean, it's nurturing that relationship. Like I said, you build that trust of, hey, you care about me outside of just trying to get my sale, right? Like, if somebody is trying to sell you, they're only calling you when they're like, well, buy from me. Okay, it's time again, buy from me some more. I'm low on sales, buy from me some more. They're not checking on you. How your kids doing? Do you want to catch a drink? And I'm not saying everybody got to be your friend, right? Because it is a business. So it's not about trying to make everybody your friend. But you got to learn that fine balance of, every time I talk to you, it's not to sell to you. I'm not just trying to get your money every time we have a conversation. I actually do care about what's going on in your life. What do you need from me? It has to be a two-way street of, this is a mutual exchange, not just me selling to you 24/7.
Exactly. And I think it goes back to even just realizing that they also have stuff going on. So how are you supporting what they have going on too? Is it always about how they are helping you, or are you also finding opportunities to help and support them as well? And then, like you said, like, I think certain stuff goes a long way. As a business, I'm definitely not calling every client and saying, hey, how's your day going? What you going through? But if I have key times that I know, like birthdays, anniversaries, I know you have 3 kids, I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, me remembering those things. And even if I have a huge list of clients, then I have a CRM that I can note this stuff, set reminders and automation where I can say happy birthday, or here's a gift card for your anniversary, or you know what I'm saying? Like when you remember those things, then and even if you don't remember them, your business remembers them, which is like your CRM or whatever tool that you use. Then people feel important. And it's not just about, oh, they're contacting me because they want something. No, this time they're contacting me because it's something about me. And I feel like that's important.
Yeah. So connections only matter if they last, though. So how do you stay memorable and supportive without constantly selling yourself? And before you answer that, because I want to say this reminds me of The Office with Michael Scott, right? Where it was like as a boss and a manager, he was kind of like aloof and goofy and kind of like, okay, you should not be managing this company. But what made him great as a salesman was his system for remembering people, like you said, remembering key information. So when there was the episode about them giving the baskets to the companies they were trying to win back, and he was like, hey, be careful about that basket that has nuts in it. Your daughter's allergic. And he's like, you remember that? And it's like he takes little key things that he's like, I remember this about you so I can have a way to relate to you and let you know, like, hey, I care. I remembered. I know this about you, and we relate more than just me selling you.
Absolutely. So then that almost would be my thing. So I used to be in sales. I don't like sales, but I used to be in sales. And that's one of the things that we were taught is when you go in somewhere, remember information, like look at the pictures, like don't go in just ready to be like I'm laser focused on just talking to you about what I can offer you. No, pay attention to other things. Like look at the picture. Do you see a husband and a wife? Do you see them with kids? Do you notice like the shoes that they're wearing? Ooh, I like your outfit, your hair, you notice things. And then when you mention those things, it makes you remember them too. So when you go back and talk to them again, it's like you can reiterate those things to them. So I feel like the biggest thing that makes you memorable is realizing that just like they may be potentially your client, you can even potentially be their client. And when I say client, doesn't mean that, oh, okay, well, in order for you to buy from me, I have to buy from you. But you also do need to support them in some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a level of support, even if it's your services. And then if it is your services, it needs to be the best that it can be. So that way it's like you went a little bit above. You went a little bit beyond. It's not like, oh, okay, well, I sold you. So now that you done made your payment, you know what I'm saying? Like, or I talked to you. And even though you said no, now I don't care anymore because regardless if you say no, I still care. And it may be an opportunity later down the line.
Yeah.
Regardless if you bought, I still need to nurture you throughout the process of you being my customer. And even after you're no longer my customer, because there's always opportunity later down the line. So there was one sales guy at one of our clients' businesses who's like, oh, well, we took too long for this. So the opportunity is gone. No, it's not. Did the person still have a business? Yeah. All right. So there's still an opportunity. So there's no, I mean, until they've closed down everything, they're not doing nothing else. You always have an opportunity, even if it's not that exact thing, you have an opportunity on something else, right? Or even if it could be a learning experience, you could teach them something. They could teach you something. They could refer you to somebody else. So if you go in with the mindset that I'm just trying to sell, or I'm just trying to get my bottom line and I don't really care about yours, then it is going to be hard to maintain those relationships because you don't care. When you care, it's really easy to maintain relationships. And when you're maintaining them because you care, it's easy to be memorable.
Yeah, I agree. And a large part of what I think people forget is support doesn't, like you said, mean spending money. Support can be that even if I write a book and you don't read my book, if I have a book launching party or a book signing event, you still come out and get a copy signed and you give to somebody who might read it because you're not a book reader. Or, you know what I'm saying, if I have an event that I'm hosting and it's not really your scene, but you invite 5 people and go, hey, go support my friend. If I post it on social media and you like and comment and share, it can be little things like that make you memorable because it's like, she ain't never spent $1 with me, but she's always supporting and pushing out to her because you never know who she knows, who might know somebody who wants to support or needs what I have to offer. So support doesn't just mean spending money. And that's how you become memorable when people know she supports me or he supports me no matter what, even if they're not spending money with me.
Exactly. Because there's a big thing about like having an event and being fearful, that people aren't going to show up, but having someone who's like, oh, I know they'll show up, so I'm going to send it to them. Because that's like, and not just that, but even like reviews or whatever, like being dependable to somebody goes so far, whether you're spending money or not. Like, so it's really, you said a gem there. So for all of those who are listening, pay attention. Like it really is about support, and it is little things, and those little things make when now I want me support back, but make sure you are not someone who expects support and you're not supporting back.
Right.
Make sure you're not someone who's wanting something. And I guess that goes back to the salesy part, but then you're not actually serving the person back because it's not going to go that far. So I always like to say that. A lot of people always talk, nobody supports me, but who do you support?
Right.
but that's a whole nother conversation. So I won't take it there. All right. So real networking is simply real relationships, right? Like relationship between you and I. It's about connection. All right. So I definitely read this wrong. I feel like this was supposed to be a question, but it's not. So I'm going to say it again. Real networking is simply real relationships. It's about connection, not collection. I actually really like that. Connection, not collection. And I guess that goes back to the numbers. You're not collecting numbers of sales. You're making connections, and those sales are going to come naturally.
Absolutely. And every conversation is a chance to create mutual value, not just swap business cards. Because honestly, it's more than that. You literally have to nurture those relationships and create real value and mutual value. That's important.
Absolutely. So next week, we'll show you how to grow those connections into bold moves with boss moves on a budget. I'm excited about that.
I am too.
Boss moves on a budget. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to Sessions with Coach April. I'm April.
I'm Cass.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.